What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, I want to share with you a brand new clip that I just saw for the very first time that is going to make it more clear for you than ever why XRP is going to be absolutely critical in our future financial system. What we have seen over the past few years is there has been a lot of new ways to move value all around the world, centralized and decentralized, and while XRP to us seems like the clear solution, obviously there are a lot of technologies out there that could be used. On this video, I want to show you exactly what makes XRP so unique and why I know at the end of the day, out of all these new technologies, XRP will win. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange upload down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and share with you the clip that I saw that let me know that XRP was going to be the technology to transform our future financial system. And this is going to touch on something that's talked about a lot in the community that I think a lot of people just say but don't really understand what it means, and that is level playing field. This is such an important concept, but not a lot of people truly understand how powerful it really is. I want to play you this clip, and it does get a little dry at some points. I just want to warn you right now, but do your best to get through the entire thing, because once you watch this entire thing and I'm able to break this down for you, you are going to understand on such a higher level exactly why XRP is one of the few digital assets that can actually create a level playing field. And this is exactly how I know that as we head into this new financial system and as we see new technologies pop up every single day and every single year, XRP is going to have a clear differentiated place and won't be able to be disrupted. So listen up to this and just do your best to make it through the entire thing.
What is the level of penetration that you're expecting for both RippleNet and XRP using CBDCs and private company stablecoins perhaps for transfers, including use by central banks? What sort of, well, there are two things.
And rightly so. I think even more importantly, other countries would hesitate to allow China's CBDC to be used domestically for fear of currency substitution. If people move to China's ECNY for transactions, they would lose control of their own monetary policy, which is something that even smaller countries value. They would lose the ability to act as lenders of last resort to their banking and financial systems. So if this is going to happen, if CBDCs are going to be used cross-border, there has to be a mechanism for different national CBDCs to be exchanged for one another. Technically, we know how to do this. The Bank for International Settlements, with cooperation of different central banks, including the PBOC, have done sandbox experiments with M-bridges, multiple CBDC bridges, dedicated digital corridors with licensed dealers to burn one CBDC and create another. We also know technically how multiple CBDCs could run on a single blockchain. That would be a different technical solution to the problem. So we know how to do this technically. We do not, however, know how to do it politically. We do not know how to govern a blockchain on which 110 CBDCs run. Who sets the rules? Who designates the licensed dealers? This would be an order of magnitude more intractable a problem than, for example, World Trade Organization governance. If we can't do this on a global scale, can we do it on a regional scale? What about a China-centered ECNY bloc? It's conceivable that China and its close neighbors, come allies, could agree on a M-bridge or a blockchain with multiple CBDCs. Perhaps, maybe, but trade between China and the West will almost certainly remain extensive. except in the most dire of scenarios. And if trade between China and the West remains extensive, an ECNY would still be useless in that connection. So my conclusion is that there may be slowly increasing use of the conventional Chinese renminbi in trade between China and other parts of the world, but not Chinese CBDC. And the rise of the conventional Chinese renminbi will almost certainly remain gradual. The dollar will almost certainly remain dominant for the foreseeable future.
So like I said, the clip was a little dry, but let me break down exactly why it is so important. What they were outlining was how you can create a new financial system built on CBDCs. Obviously, every single country is going to want their own CBDC. The United States is not going to want to use China's CBDC. No country out there is going to want to use the United States CBDC. All these different countries are going to want to have their own CBDC, and they're all going to want their own currency. I think that's a pretty obvious thing for us to all understand and a pretty good starting point for how this system is going to be built. Essentially, what they then went on to talk about is what technologies are going to be used to bridge these CBDCs. One of the most common solutions that is often brought up is a centralized system where essentially all these different countries all build on the same blockchain. Now, what he said, and this is really fascinating, is that technologically is actually a pretty easy thing to build. It's not that hard to build a centralized system, have every single country put their own currency on that system, and then be able to trade between all these different countries. But the problem is, and this is absolutely critical and why XRP is going to be so important, is you can never get all these countries to agree on the same rules. Who's going to govern the blockchain? Who's going to take over when something bad happens? Who's going to call someone out when there's sanctions? Who's going to decide who is right to sanction who? Obviously, all these problems are what we already have in our financial system. Everyone wants to play by different rules, and certain players ultimately get more power and get to control the system. The only way you can get around that is to have a level playing field. Now, how do you have a level playing field in a centralized system? You can't, because in a centralized system, someone is always going to have the power. Someone is always going to have the power to make the decisions. Someone's always going to have the power to use the system in a way that benefits them over all the other players. That is the exact issue we have in our current financial system. And that is why a centralized solution is never going to fix that. What XRP offers that no other technology can offer is an actual level playing field, an actual decentralized system that no country, no organization, or no person can take control of. What XRP allows is for all these CBDCs to hook up to a neutral platform where they can exchange value and no specific party has any kind of advantage over another party. So essentially, if the United States wanted to exchange value with China, the United States wouldn't have to take the Chinese CBDC and China wouldn't have to take the United States CBDC. And also, most importantly, they wouldn't have to trust one another. They wouldn't have to work in a centralized system. That's never going to work. They already don't trust each other. What would they do? Well, the United States could actually tokenize their currency, send it into the XRP ledger, and then use the decentralized exchange so China on the other side of that trade just gets their Chinese CBDC. It's an automated market maker. It's a liquidity pool between the United States dollar and the Chinese yuan. This is so important to understand because what we just did was we got rid of a middleman and we got rid of a centralized solution that could be corrupted. Rather than expecting all these different countries and organizations to all get along and all play by the same rules, instead they can all play by their own rules, and only when they meet in the middle, they all agree to the same rules on the XRPL. This is absolutely the direction we need to head. We are never going to enter a world where every single country is going to agree with each other, but we're also never going to enter a world where none of these countries are going to interact with each other. We are always going to have to interact with all the other countries in the entire world, and we're never going to agree with them. We're always going to have disagreements on exactly who should have the power, how trade should be conducted, and who is allowed to work with who. As long as we have these problems, then you absolutely need a neutral, decentralized asset in the middle of all these trades. It's the only way you can get these countries to actually work within a system without actually giving another party the power to control the system. This is the most important thing that I took away from this clip. No matter what technology ultimately gets implemented, no matter what technology ultimately wins out, there is always going to be a very, very critical place for XRP. There is always going to be an absolutely critical place for XRP because no other technology leverages a decentralized neutral liquidity asset in the middle of the trade. This is why XRP has such a unique place in our future financial system. This is why, as I see all these new systems being built out, all these different bridges and CBDC platforms, I ultimately always come to the conclusion that unless they figure out a way to get rid of the trust, XRP is always going to be absolutely critical. And that's why, as all this continues to play out, and as these countries start building these CBDCs and more questions come to play on exactly how value will be exchanged in between them, I just get more and more confident that XRP will always be positioned in the right place. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help so much. And for now, Mickle out.